Hi. So tonight for dinner, we're going to be making some spicy Peruvian chicken and rice with like a jalapeno lime crema. This is an old HelloFresh recipe, but I'm just going to kind of eyeball some of the steps and the ingredients and the measurements. So here we go. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and mince up some garlic here. The recipe calls for jasmine rice, and I'm going to be making the recipe for 4 servings, and I had just enough rice to be able to make this. I was measuring it out and I was like, woo! Okay. Okay. The good thing about this recipe is that the rice seems to be like the most complicated thing that you would make on the stove. And then it's just kind of like assembling things, I guess. Okay. So I believe the recipe called for 2 cloves of garlic, but I went ahead and cut up like 4 or 5 because I really like garlic. And here we go. Like I said, we like to eyeball here. Okay. Kids are going cuckoo today. They're finally starting to feel better. And I think that they saved up all that energy while they were sick. Now they're letting it all out. It's been quite a noisy house today. All right, so we've got our garlic here. Let's go ahead and put it in here. Every time we go to do this, garlic ends up everywhere else. But not today. Okay. So we're gonna mince our garlic, and then we're also going to make like a pickled jalapeno almost. And I'm gonna go ahead and make it, you know what, I'm gonna make it in this bowl. So all we're gonna do here is we are going to slice up a jalapeno into like coins, and we're going to take out the seeds and the rib, I guess that's what they call it, just so that it's not as spicy. I'm not really sure if Jay is gonna eat this tonight, but I don't really want it too spicy. So I think about like that thickness is good. You don't want it too thick. And I think I'm going to use, I don't know if I should use 1 or 2 jalapenos. These jalapenos are pretty big. The recipe actually calls for you to put it into the rice, but whenever I make this recipe, I just kind of leave these on the side, and then we can just kind of like put them in our dish according to how much we want. If a couple seeds get in there, it's not a big deal. Feels good to finally be cooking something again, because the past 2 weeks somebody has been sick. It's either been Colin or me or Gianna, so we've just kind of been in survival mode. We're finally getting back to normal routine. Definitely taking the weekend to rest and relax and recharge so that we can start our week off strong. Okay. So, I mean, I think 1 jalapeno might be enough. Those slices were a little thick, but that's okay. Yeah, I did kind of slice these a little bit thick, but that's all right. I think since I'm taking these seeds out, it's going to kind of cut down on some of that heat, so it's all right if they're a little thicker. I think I might just do one jalapeno. There we go. Oops. Yeah. That one kind of snuck in there. It's funny, these jalapenos must be pretty spicy because I can kind of like feel them burning in my throat already. I'm like way up here. Okay. Let's get rid of all this seeds and stuff. Now, I feel like I might get myself in a little bit of trouble here because I'm going to go ahead and just cut straight on this board. But we are going to need to combine the jalapenos with the juice from a lime. And actually, you know what? I'm supposed to zest this lime, so let me do that right now with my jalapeno hands. I never realized how much flavor the zest of the citrus gives. I remember years ago, back when my husband and I first started dating, he decided to make limoncello with my brother, and we were living in an apartment at this time. And I remember coming home and walking into the apartment, and all I could smell was like lemon because they had zested so many lemons. It was insane. The limoncello came out very good, but I will never forget that. I came home and I was like, oh my gosh, there's so many lemons. Okay. Okay. Let's put this zest right in here. You know what? Why don't we zest the other lime too? Why not? Can never have too much lime zest. Make sure I don't get my hand. Done that before, and that's never any fun. All right. So we've got the zest of a lime right there. Let's put the juice of the lime right into here. Oh, this is not a very juicy lime at all. Not getting anything out of this guy. Well, come on. That was not a very juicy lime at all. Okay. All right, let's try this other lime. Maybe we'll have more luck with this. Ah, there we go. A little bit more luck. I feel like I've been having so much luck with my lemons lately. They've been so juicy. But these limes, man, they're kind of like hard. I'm trying to think of where I bought these. Kind of bounce around between a bunch of grocery stores, so thinking maybe I got these. Maybe I got these from Stop and Shop. All right. This lime seemed to be producing a lot more juice than the other one. You know what I should have used, and this always happens to me, should have used that electric juicer that I was telling you guys about. The one that we found in the basement. Too late for it now. I'm already invested in this. I'm in too deep. Okay. All right, so got a good bit of juice in there. I'm trying to get all of it out. Okay. I went and I found more limes, but as a backup, I've got the fake stuff. So let's try and get some more lime juice in here. Oh, see, this one is like, it's not very, they look like dried out. I don't know. Yeah, I'm gonna go with this as a bust. So I'm just gonna use the fake stuff. If I can get it open, there we go. Always have this stuff as a backup. I always like to do the fresh, but just in case I have that. So, clean up over here a little bit. Got my recipe. For some reason, I can't work in a messy workstation. Okay, so to this, we are going to go ahead and add, let's see, some sugar and some salt. So I believe it's a half a teaspoon of sugar. I'm running out of sugar here. So I'm just gonna kind of eyeball it. Put a little bit more sugar in there. And a pinch of salt. We're going to mix this up, and then we're going to microwave this for 30 seconds, and then we're just going to kind of let it sit and pickle as we prepare the rest of the meal. So I'm going to go ahead and pop this in the microwave. So while the jalapenos are pickling, we're just going to quickly come over here and get our rice started. So right now I am melting 2 tablespoons of butter in this pot, and to this I'm going to add some garlic, some scallions. I already had them cut up and frozen, so I'm just gonna pop those in here, and some fajita seasoning. We'll cook that up a little bit, and then we'll add the rice, some water, and a little bit of like chicken stock. I don't have any I don't have the little packets that usually come with the HelloFresh meal, so I have got this savory infusions kind of like stuff, so I'm going to use this. I think it's just going to add a little bit of flavor to our rice. I feel like the rice is like the real superstar. So I currently have this on medium-high heat, and I'm going to go ahead and add those items. So I'm going to save some of this garlic to put in, I believe it's like the crema that we're going to make. So, come off there, butter. So I'm going to save a little bit of this. I'm going to save like that much garlic. The rest is going to go in here, and we're going to saute this up until it's fragrant. And now that I can smell again, it smells great. So put some of that in, and you're supposed to only put the scallion whites in to the rice, but like I said, I've already cut these up and these were frozen, so it's all mixed up together. So I'm just gonna kind of dump about what I think 2 scallions worth of whites would be in there. Oops. Hang it out over here near the seam. Oh, they're getting stuck here. There we go. And some fajita seasoning. I'm just going to kind of eyeball. I don't remember how much the recipe said, but it's going to give the rice some flavor. So we want to put enough in there. Okay. It smells so good. I love the smell of garlic and butter. We're basically just trying to saute it enough until it gets fragrant. And let me tell you, it smells really good. Now, I usually like to toast my rice a little bit, so I'm going to go ahead and add the rice in now. And this is not, like, I didn't wash the rice or anything, so it's going to have that, like, it's going to be a little starchy, which is fine. Got rice going in. And I'm basically just kind of making sure that the rice gets coated in that butter, garlic, scallion, fajita seasoning blend. Honestly, I think I could put a little bit more fajita seasoning. The rice it smells delicious so far, and it looks like this. It's all coated, and it's got that beautiful brown color, or orangey brown color of the fajita seasoning. Next, I'm going to go ahead and add in, so I put a cup of rice in there, so I'm going to add in about 1.5 to 1 3/4 cup of water. I usually put a smidge more water than the package tells me to, because I feel like otherwise what happens is I lose track of time, and sometimes I need that little bit extra water in there. Okay, so we've got that mixed in, and then I'm going to put in a little bit of this, it's a roasted chili and garlic base, like stock, so let's get this going in here, about that much. We're basically just going to let this come up to a simmer. I'm going to cover it and let it cook for about 15 to 18 minutes. And in the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and saute the chicken. All you're going to do is basically season the chicken with salt, pepper, and some fajita seasoning, and cook it in the pan until it's done. Okay, so the final piece to this recipe is we are going to make the crema. So the crema is basically just equal parts sour cream and mayo. We're going to put some garlic, some chopped cilantro, some of the lime zest, some juice from the jalapenos that we're pickling, and some salt and pepper. So you can get that going. So I've actually chopped up a bunch of cilantro here. Some people don't really like cilantro, but I love it. I guess, you know, to some people it tastes like soap. To me, it just tastes delicious. So put that in there. Put the garlic in there. I'm just going to use my finger here. Get all that garlic in there. And I'm going to do about 1, 2, and maybe like a little scoop more of sour cream. And about the same amount of mayo. of the lime zest. Some salt. Oops. A little bit of pepper. Now, you can also use just regular lime juice, but I feel like this is going to add a little extra heat to it. It's about 3 spoonfuls. Okay, we're going to mix this up, and then we're going to add a little bit of water until we get a drizzly consistency. So right now it's pretty thick because of the cilantro. So I'm going to grab a little bit of water. I'm just going to add like a smidge, like that much. Stir this up. And normally I would put a little bit more lime juice, but considering that our limes were kind of a bust today, I'm just going to use a little water and a little extra lime zest. A little extra. Okay, a little extra water there. And it's pretty thin, it's pretty drizzly. Now all we have to do is slice up our chicken, put it over some rice, sprinkle this on there with some tomatoes and our jalapenos, and we have dinner. All right, so this is what we're looking at. We've got the rice, tomatoes, jalapenos, the crema, and some chicken.